We need to sand the Great Pyramid of Giza urgently. I know, you're thinking, what is this guy talking about? But I assure you, if you stick around to the end, if you hear me out, you will also be convinced. For thousands of years, nature's been busy trying to clean up our ancestors' mess. Through processes like erosion, which is breaking stuff down and moving it, and weathering, which is breaking or dissolving stuff down. But since nature is so busy destroying our buildings for revenge, it can only clean up 0.01% of the pyramid's total volume per year. And without any help, the pyramid could be standing for another 100,000 years. So it's up to us to clean it up. Why? Because we owe nature a debt. For all the oil we've dumped into the ocean and the trees we chopped down so we can write about how many trees we chopped down, the debt is bigger than the national debt of the United States, which politicians just seem to double it and give it to the next person. The point is, we have a duty to return what is rightfully nature's property, and specifically, the property in question is sand. If you played Minecraft, sand plus fuel in a furnace is glass, and most devices you could be watching this on has a glass screen, so we need to give it back. And that's why we're going to be using sandpaper. But here's the thing, you and we're not doing this for free. We're all for nature, but someone's gotta pay for that Herman Miller chair. So my proposal is, we make this into an outdoor fitness center. We're going to have sleds that slide down the pyramid with sandpaper glued underneath. There's also going to be a skiing slope, and we're gonna stick sandpaper underneath the skis. Next, people who like to hammer a tire at gyms can now enjoy a trip to the pyramids, and instead of a hammer, we'll provide a pickaxe, and instead of a tire, it'll be limestone. But you might be thinking, this isn't going to make a dent in the pyramid, especially considering the dimensions of the pyramid. And that's why we're going to cover the pyramid with a belt sander. You might be thinking that I'm referring to these items of machinery, but we need to aim bigger. 7 years ago, Duct Tape Ninja posted a live pro tip to replace your treadmill belt with sandpaper for better traction while running. But what they meant to say is replace your treadmill belt with sandpaper if you need to sand the pyramids. Looking at the dimensions, each treadmill is about 40 inches or 101.6 centimeters wide. So if we divide the base length of 230 meters by 1.01 meters, we can get 227 treadmills along the base of the pyramid. And if we go one layer up, we can fit 226 additional treadmills. So we're going to install 100 rows of this, which works out to roughly 22,600 treadmills on each side, giving us a total of 90,400 treadmills across the entire pyramid. Something you might be thinking is, what about the corners of the pyramids that the treadmills can't fit on? Should we just use an angle grinder? And to answer that question with another question, when was the last time you saw an angle grinder at a fitness center? So what we're going to use instead is a spin bike, except we're going to replace the flywheel with a circular saw blade, and we're getting 50 spin bikes for each corner. Next, if you sanded anything before, what's something you do when the sawdust builds up in your area? You give it a quick but because of the scale we're dealing with, blowing air with our mouths would not be sufficient. Instead, we're going to use a fan bike and position them so it's facing towards the pyramid. And there'll be a further use of the fan bike that I'll explain later. But first, let's get the math out the way. The width of one of these is about 50 inches or 129 centimeters. By dividing these two, we can see we can fit 181 on each side. So in total, we'll have 724 fan bikes, blowing away all the annoying limestone dust. Okay, so how long is this going to take? The Great Pyramid was made with 5.5 million tons of limestone, 8,000 tons of granite, and 500,000 tons of mortar. Limestone, on Mohs hardness scale, scratches at level 3 with deeper grooves at level 4. The treadmill maxes out at 12 miles per hour. And as a generous estimate, let's say each treadmill sands 15 grams of limestone per hour. So if we multiply this with all our treadmills, we get 1,356 kilograms, or 2,989 pounds per hour. So if we use this rate against 5.5 million tons, it will take us 463.01 years. While this may seem like a long time, compared to the erosion rate of before and the predicted 100,000 years, we have saved 99,537 years of erosion and weathering. That's an incredible improvement of over 99%. So with that much efficiency, it has to come at a cost, right? The sled, ski, and the circular saw blade bike will most likely get shut down due to it being unsafe and dangerous. But the majority of the cost will come from the treadmill, the sandpaper, and the electricity. The treadmills cost around $1,000 each. The sandpaper would cost around $50 per treadmill and will have to be replaced every 30 minutes for maximum abrasion. There are 8,114,056 intervals of 30 minutes in 463 years accounted for leap years, giving us a total of $405,702,800 for the sandpaper. Finally, we have the power bill. If we use these numbers and these rates, an hour of usage will cost around 11 cents. And with all the treadmills running 24/7, it will result in $4,030 billion. This is a lot. But we still have a trick up our sleeve. To support sustainability, we're going to install a wind turbine and a big solar panel, which will cost around $1 million each. And obviously, there's a lot of sunlight near the pyramids, and we have the fan bikes, which will turn the turbines. With these two renewable energy sources, I think we can call it even with the energy bill and remove it out of the equation. So all in total for the treadmill, sandpaper, and these two energy converters, it gives us a total of $498,102,800. And while that might seem like a lot at first glance, just ask yourself, can you really put a price on nature? So please, if you support nature, if you support the longevity of this planet, you need to sand that subscribe button, angle grind the like button, and use the wind turbine to blow on that notification bell.